Hi everyone, I'm here with Tim and we just wanted to have a little chat regarding this organisation, CCHR. They claim to be this human rights group that are basically out there to help people with mental health issues, and they are claiming that they are doing miraculous things in the community by protecting individuals from psychiatry and the professional help that they offer to people with serious mental health issues. CCHR, the founders of CCHR came from Scientology and from a psychiatrist in 1969. I can't think of his name now. I don't really want to. I'm not a fan of CCHR, and that's the truth. And I suppose what I really want to talk about is what they really are. CCHR are basically a mask for the Scientology cult. That is what they are. They are Scientologists. They use this organisation because they're trying to infiltrate our society with their dangerous cult rhetoric. That's exactly what they are. And they are causing grave harm. They are basically saying that we do not need professional help for people with mental health issues. We do not need psychiatry. And what they will offer as an alternative is quackery. That's what it is. Okay, so if you go on any of their websites, be it the UK, the Florida website, it's all the same. You will go on there and you will be met with terrifying stories of psychiatrists sexually abusing their clients, or, you know, people being drugged without their consent, etc., etc. Now, I'm not here saying that, you know, it is the right thing to do is to give lots of medications to people that have mental health issues. I know lots of people who do have mental health issues. But believe me, sometimes people need medication and it's a matter of life or death for those people. Tim, have you anything you'd like to just add to that? Because we know people, don't we, within our family circle that have had mental health issues before. And you agree with me that professional help is really important, isn't it?
Well, of course it is.
Yeah, and like, you know, so what we want to try and highlight here is the fact is that what CCHR are saying is you don't need professional help anymore. We'll come to us, talk to us, and we will help you get off your drugs. And then you will be just left to go to the quacks who will basically exploit you with all of these unregulated products, supplements, MMS, who knows, anything's better than getting professional help. And this is what's going on here. Now, I have evidence to support all that I'm saying because I have actually rang CCHR in England and also in Dublin, Ireland yesterday. I've written about the Scientology cult before and how they have actually been involved in abuses towards autistic children with their horrendous techniques that they use to terrify people and brainwash people. One of the treatments, not that it was a treatment, was called spot treatment, and it highlighted in a BBC documentary last year. Just horrendous stuff. And I suppose what really annoys me as well is that the fact that they're saying that they are here to help people with mental health issues. They don't believe in mental illness. They actually don't even think it's real. And the same applies to autism or conditions like ADHD. In their mind, they are fabricated conditions, and believe that if people are displaying any signs of mental health illness, that it is coming from an underlying physical condition. So basically it's non-existent. So let's just get that out there. CCHR don't believe that mental illness is real, doesn't believe that autism is a real condition either, and basically hate mental illness. They see it as you know, the most vile thing in society. It's not that they really want to help people at all. They despise it and they don't believe it to be real. So that's what CCHR is all about. They're not about helping people. But back to the call that I had yesterday. So I rang CCHR UK yesterday and I recorded the conversation, and that is actually out there on YouTube. And I've put it out there because I felt that people needed to know the kind of mindset of the CCHR cult and how they operate. Now, I just couldn't believe my ears yesterday when I rang up and spoke to two Scientologists. So let's just get that straight as well. I rang CCHR. Now, yes, their founder was involved in the creation of this organisation, but there is no mention of Scientology Church sponsoring CCHR on their websites. It does talk about them being involved in its foundations, okay? And to be honest, they don't openly say we're Scientologists for obvious reasons, because nobody would want to talk to them, obviously. So it's kind of under the carpet, so to speak. But when I rang CCHR UK yesterday, I spoke to two people, a woman called Isabella and a man called Brian Daniels. Now, Isabella told me on the phone that the Church of Scientology sponsors CCHR. Now, let's get this straight. The word sponsor, because I looked it up in the dictionary, just to clarify things, means to fund or promote something, okay? Mostly to do with funding, actually. Now, I kept reiterating this back to them, and they were saying to me, oh no, it just means establishment. Of course it doesn't mean establishment. And this girl that had said that to me, actually, you know, the minute she said it to me, disappeared from the phone, and I was met with this maniac called Brian Daniels, who said, we don't sponsor the CCHR, and started ranting down the phone, and apparently he was bull baiting me. That's what I've been told afterwards by people that are much more well versed on Scientology. And the call ended very badly. However, you know, this is what I want to highlight here. You know, if they are sponsoring CCHR, anyone that's involved with CCHR are basically, you know, promoting Scientology. They're working with a cult. And CCHR are, you know, getting into society via schools. They're offering these kind of drug programs, marching on the streets, picking up the rubbish. Here in Dublin, you can see them painting murals on the walls of sick children in our hospitals. You know, the real good do-gooders in society, the good Samaritan. But it's all a front for their cult. And that's what needs to be highlighted here. And it's not being highlighted enough. And I suppose what I want to really focus on is the fact that when I spoke to this woman yesterday, Isabella, and to this man, Brian, how aggressive and how crazy the conversation was, and how paranoid. Who are you? What's your name? Where do you come from? I mean, you know, from the beginning, there were red flags everywhere. You know, you knew you were talking to a cult, basically. Then, you know, I said to myself, well, I've got that phone call and it's pretty damning. I'll ring Dublin and see if I can talk to somebody there in CCHR. So I did that. And I got through to the Scientology Church. And I said, is this CCHR? Yes. There you go. It's Scientology. That's what CCHR is. And I said, I want to talk to somebody that knows about CCHR. So they connected me to a woman who I recognised from talking to last year, Margaret McNair. Wow, she's somebody that I really don't like. And this woman I spoke to last year, Margaret McNair, told me that she supports Andrew Wakefield, the anti-vaccine movement. She was actually in the courts, the tribunal about him losing his medical licence. She was present there, praising him. What a wonderful man. Again, doesn't believe that autism is a real condition, same kind of rhetoric. And so when she came to the phone yesterday, it was kind of a bit like, oh no, it's her again. And I asked her about the whole sponsoring of Church of Scientology and CCHR. And she was, again, really just, you know, kind of restrained and not wanting to talk about it, and said to me that, I said, sponsor means funding. It means, you know, you're actively involved. And she was like, no, no, no. And she started talking about other members of our society, that there's all walks of life in CCHR, you know, psychiatrists, nurses, doctors. She told me that they're trying to get into schools here in Ireland to roll out programs. I mean, can you believe that, really? That they want to actually go into our schools and, you know, tell parents to take their kids away from professional help. And, you know, it could actually lead, let's be honest here, to the death of somebody that's on medication for like a serious condition like bipolar, who's told by these lunatics to stop taking their medication, could actually cause that person to die. That's the fact. And this to me is a real serious issue, because it's not being investigated enough. And I'm really concerned as a parent of autistic children, because they use conditions like autism to basically go out there and terrify people and, you know, refer to it in such an awful way. For example, I went on their CCHR website yesterday, and you have alternatives for autistic children or children that have ADHD. And I went on a link and it led me to a website to a Dr. Block. That's her name. And Dr. Block says she can help your autistic child return to normal again. Return to normal again, because they are not normal. That's what Scientology is about. They don't view people on the autism spectrum as normal. They don't view people with mental illness as normal. They don't view people from the LGBT community as normal. No, no, no. We are, you know, on the lowest rung of the ladder to them. And what they are about is basically preventing people like us having the same rights in our society. This is not about human rights. This is the opposite of human rights. They are vile. They are a cult. And to be honest with you, I am, just beginning to get so, disgusted with how this whole world is going in relation to people like this movement and who they support. We know that the CCHR are actually promoting anti-vaccine rhetoric. We know that they are supporting vaxxed. We know that they support quacks. And, this is a real concern for us because this movement, vaxxed, are coming to Dublin at the end of April, and they're having a screening next May. And, we're all wondering, who's funding this cult, this vaxxed movement, Well, the truth is, they're all linked together. This is what's going on here. And when I spoke to this Margaret McNair yesterday, she was really, really curt with me and hung up on me, actually, because I was just asking her simple questions. That's the funny thing with Scientologists. They can't answer a basic question without, going completely, bonkers and exploding. And just to think, for me as a mother, to think of her crawling through the schools in Ireland with her cult behind her makes me physically ill. And, I really think that this is something that the government should address. And I know, and I have the comfort here in Ireland that they are a small movement, but even one of them or two of them, getting any kind of platform scares me greatly. And the fact that their alternative options are to basically send vulnerable people to quacks, which is what's going on here. It's appalling. So I want people to be aware of that. And I'm naming these people because I'm not afraid of the Scientology cult. I know what they do. Their cameras pointing in people's faces. Try doing that with me because I'm not going to take that rubbish from you. But Margaret McNair is CCHR in Dublin. So that's the woman that's going to be setting up these programs and rolling them out in Ireland to, terrify parents and exploit children and harm them greatly. Then in the UK, it's Brian Daniels, and I've been researching him. Yeah, he's really just a full-blown cult crazy guy. And the girl that was there with him, I think, basically said too much. And it's sad because I spoke to an ex-Scientologist yesterday and she will be punished, apparently, for not saying the right thing to me on the phone. She will probably be made to have, go without food or clean toilets with toothbrushes. Yeah, that's what they do if you mess up in the cult of Scientology. So this is what it's like. This is the kind of lives that these people are living. And it needs to stop. It really does. We don't want these people to get a foothold. And the links to Vax. Yeah. The other thing is Polly Tommy. Oh, the wonderful Tommy. Yeah. God help us all. Yeah. Polly is actually following CCHR on Twitter. I discovered that yesterday as well. So there you go. They're all one big happy family. All anti-evidence, anti-science. Everything, they're just anti-government. That's the bottom line here. But you know what? They've got all the answers. They've got all the answers to all of these problems by just putting people into saunas, giving them high doses of B vitamins, experimenting on autistic children with quack treatments, because they despise anyone that isn't the same as them, because it's a cult. And that's reality here. Okay, thanks for listening, guys. And I'd appreciate if you share this piece, because it's a very serious issue and it's happening in England and in Ireland and all around the world. And the truth needs to be told about this cult. CCHR is Scientology cult. That's what it is. And they're out to cause harm and destroy humans. That's what they want to do. So be warned and speak out against this awful cult. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.